Ice cream. If you send your kid to the park with a little pocket money for the ice cream truck, please be careful. I was at the park with my son and we heard the ice cream truck jingling down the road. A look of panic came across my son's face and he sprinted over to me with a pleading look I knew very well. I almost felt bad. Sam is a very well-behaved kid. He knows the rules and follows them. He can be a bit of a smartass sometimes, but he's a smartass who knows the world is dangerous, and that's all you can hope for as a parent. I told him he could go get some ice cream and sent him off with a $5 bill. He came back with an ice cream sandwich and a big smile on his face. He plopped himself down on a bench to eat. As the sound of the truck faded into the distance, I heard a new sound. Another ice cream truck. It was very strange for them to come one after another like this. In our town, they usually circle around every 30 to 40 minutes at the earliest. I looked over and saw the most bizarre truck I'd ever seen in my life. At a glance, it was an ice cream truck, but the closer you looked, the stranger it got. It looked as if someone tried to draw the previous truck from memory. Instead of a plastic ice cream cone on the roof, there was just a brown cylinder. On the side of the vehicle, there were colorful squares where you might put a menu, but there was no ice cream on it. They were empty, unfinished. And the music, that dreadful music. It wasn't music, really. It had no rhythm, it was just pitches. It was yammering and incomprehensible. It didn't sound like instruments, but it didn't sound like voices either. It was an eerie babble between the two that mimicked the usual ice cream tune. And the windows. The lack of windows. There were none on the vehicle. Not on the sides or the front. I'm telling you, there was no windshield. I don't know how they could even see in this thing. As I marveled at the opaque monstrosity, my son waddled into view, taking slow, sleepy steps toward the thing. It took me a second to register that it was him. I looked over at the bench where his half-eaten sandwich lay melting. I looked back again, and he was reaching his hand out to the truck. I called to him, a bit angry, but mostly shocked. When I did, the music cut off, and the truck zipped away, freakishly fast. And it didn't burn rubber either. I didn't even hear the engine. It just blasted off down the street soundlessly. At this point, I was freaked out. I ran over to my son and gave him a good long scolding about how dangerous it is to go running off like that. He didn't even look at me. Instead, he looked down at his right hand. In it, gripped tightly, was a clean popsicle stick with a strange symbol I'd never seen before. The symbol was a web of lines, each connecting to different circles along the length of the stick. It was a remarkably intricate design to stamp on the back of a popsicle. When I looked down, Sam quickly stashed the stick in his pocket. At the time, I assumed he was afraid I'd scold him for being distracted. Now I think he was trying to hide it. After a few more clipped words, we walked back to the house. Sam didn't say a word for the rest of the night. When we got home, he went straight to bed. When I went upstairs to call him down for dinner, he was fast asleep. At around 3 a.m, I was awakened by an awful yammering sound. The ice cream truck. I was groggy and perplexed. My first emotion was anger. I thought, how ridiculous for the truck to be around the neighborhood this late at night when everyone's asleep, just to make a buck. Everyone's asleep. Everyone's asleep. As the thought dawned on me, I heard the front door creak open. I sprinted downstairs and into the street to find my son standing in front of the truck. I screamed his name and the truck went silent and zipped off just like before. I ran over to Sam, shaking with fear. I interrogated him more sternly than I ever have, mostly out of adrenaline, but I was quite angry at his foolishness. He said nothing. I think he tried to. He looked at me with dead eyes and began yammering. That whining, false talk that issued from the truck. Some almost language that chilled me to my core. As he babbled, I noticed something on his tongue. I recognized the symbol from the popsicle stick, branded on his tongue. Right now, he and I are on our way to the hospital. I'm recording these words into my phone in case something happens to us. Because, since we've been on the road, a car has been following us. A truck with a big brown cylinder on top. And I don't think we can outrun it.